What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Brandon. This is Brandon Coin. Welcome back. Today's a little bit of a motivational GPU mining video. A lot of people getting, especially newer guys getting fed up that it's coming into summertime, things are getting hotter, and their rigs aren't stable. One thing that I typically like to do is pull my overclocks back. I don't go as aggressive. It's not worth getting, full mega hash if your rig's gonna go down every day. Pull back, get 95, 90% and stable. That's where I like to be. Now, that being said, it's been getting super hot. I just had one of my rigs go down. I typically don't have, I maybe have one or two rigs that go down a week. And it's always like, I have those rigs, you know what I'm saying? So I try to put my problem child cards together, and maybe that's actually worse, I don't know. But my good solid rigs with my solid cards, like literally hardly ever go down. They'll be up for, months at a time. But my problem child rigs, they are what they are. Some people like to get rid of those cards or swap those rigs out, and that's a good idea. But I figure if I can keep them running, and they maybe have a bobble once a week, then it's okay. It's no big deal. I'm about to go into the back and see why mine went down, but it's not abnormal. A lot of people are like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? Heat is a big factor coming into GPU mining and getting used to that in the summertime. If you're running one or two cards and they're in an air-conditioned space, you're not even gonna notice it. But if you try putting graphics cards and stuff out in your garage, as your ambient air temperature heats up, your memory on your cards heats up, the core heats up, everything heats up, and it's not gonna run the same. And those variables changing how the card's running could lead to it crashing. And that's normally, I'd say 9 times out of 10, if you're not having an actual hardware failure, it's heat. Heat is a killer when it comes to GPU mining. So just be cognizant of that. I tell a lot of people, if you can't air condition a space, and it's not even feasible to air condition like a large farm. I'm just talking about if you have a couple cards and you're sticking them out in your garage, put a box fan on them. It's as simple as that, giving them that airflow, exchanging some new air, having some way for new air to come in. I just literally have this door open right now. It's not a perfect system, but it lets some new air come into the garage, and then I have some active fans pushing the air across most of my farm, and it's okay. Even though the ambient in here sometimes gets over 100 degrees, the cards are okay. They're living, they're surviving. They're not thriving, they're surviving. So I'm gonna go in there and see what's going on, and we'll continue onwards. All right, come with me, come with me. All right, so I put this fan at the door just to help with a little bit of exhaust. I still haven't cut my exhaust into the ceiling yet, but we seem to be running pretty fine other than the occasional down. Rig 8 is the one that apparently has went down, which is, I believe it's this one right here. Hold on, let me pull it up on my phone. Yeah, I think it's this one, because like that's a problem child card, that's a problem child card. That's a 1060 that I have to run super low memory clocks on, because it just doesn't like memory overclocking at all. Let's see here, rig 8. Oh no, that's not rig 8. Rig 8 is, it's got two 3060s on it. I think it's actually up here. Oh yeah. It's not running. The fan, the CPU fan is off. Huh, let me power cycle the power supply. I can reach it. Alrighty. We'll see if that brings it back online. Looks like Ethernet's blinking. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, before you go and start pulling anything apart, giving your rig a hard reset. And what I mean by that is not just pressing reset on the software side inside a Hive, but actually coming over, turning the power off, sometimes even unplugging the power supply, so that way the capacitors drain down, plug the power supply back in, power it back on, and see what it does then, because a lot can happen in a short period of time, and sometimes it's just not explainable. Yeah, it looks like we're Ethernet's talking, so that's a good sign. I'm gonna see if that pops back up. Everything else seems to be running stable, so that's good. I want to like move these little CPU rigs over here, but we'll get to that later. Another thing that I have done with problem child cards is separate them. Say if you have an old motherboard with a CPU, and like this card for some reason does not work in a rig with other cards. Don't ask me why, but guess what? You put it by itself, that's a 570, 8 gig, it gets 30 mega hash, letter E, letter E. Here's another 570, this is actually a 4 gig card, so I have it mining ETC instead of Ethereum, and you can do that on the same rig, like you can mine multiple coins with different cards, but it's easier just to stick that on one by itself. So if you have older computers, and you can do that. Or even other computers. Oh man, let me flip this around. All right, phew, trying to wake up. It's Sunday, just one of those days. Okay, anyway, there, boom. I'm just checking. Rig is back up. We have almost 20 accepted shares. Been up for a couple minutes. 275 mega hash. Look like everything's running pretty smooth. Temperature on all the cards is between 55 to 60. So yeah, I mean everything's working. But a lot of people get hung up on like why to go down, why to go down. On Hive, sometimes it'll give you error readout if something happens. There's no error readout, like that rig just went down. Probably one of those cards is going a little on the fritz. If it runs good for a few days and doesn't give me any issues, I probably won't mess with it. But my course of action is kind of to, I don't want to introduce extra downtime for no reason. So there's no reason for me to start taking that entire rig apart if it runs for, you know, a week at a time, and then all I have to do is go hit a power switch. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, if I'm not around mine, or it's at a different place, or I don't trust it, they have different, you know, different needs, different wants. They need it to run sustained, and that's where you just need more, probably either a little bit more airflow or pull those overclocks back. But restarting a computer it's a joke in the IT industry. Have you turned it off and turned it back on? But it's actually so true, especially in mining. More than ever, like GPU mining is more stable than it's probably ever been. In the beginning, I mean, especially trying to mine like on all Windows machines. I remember at one time I had like 5 or 6 different Windows machines, and they were all like 5, 6, 3, 2 card machines, and it was just a constant battle of like letting or keeping Windows from like messing itself up. So if you have rigs that are doing weird stuff, especially if they're doing weird stuff at like hot points during the day and they're not in an air-conditioned space, consider giving them a little bit of airflow. You know, a daggone $10 box fan may go a long, long way. So, just food for thought. I guess this video wasn't supposed to be like super in-depth or lots of like thought or anything. It's just kind of giving some of those guys that, I know there's those guys out there that like they have to know why something went down, and there's a little bit of mystery. There's a little bit of mystery. You don't always know. I mean, can you look at the logs and pull all that kind of stuff? Yes, but what if it gives you some mumbo jumbo garbage like GPU driver error, no temps? Like it could be as simple as those cards got a little too hot. They were running a little too much overclock for the temperature that they were at. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna let mine run for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get back to them later and check on them. So if they have something else, then I'll report, and if not, see you guys on the next one. So I appreciate it. Thank y'all for riding around with me. It's been a nice Sunday. Nice Sunday to go on a little ride, you know? Enjoy the weather. Man, my eyes are like super red. Later, guys.